the son of Larry Doby, Larry Doby Jr. The Indians have a proud history of barrier breakers, men who through their actions changed the course of baseball, changed the course of society, and inspired millions. Larry Doby broke the color barrier in the American League just 11 weeks after Jackie Robinson did so in April of 1947. In fact, today is the 72nd anniversary of Larry Doby signing a contract with the Cleveland Indians. The 72nd anniversary. His indelible impact on our society continues to be recognized today. Larry, our next guest, has a special recognition of your father's indelible impact on our society. Please welcome the senior United States Senator from Ohio and also a huge Tribe fan, Mr. Sherrod Brown.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Mr. Doby, thank you so much for your family's leadership. Mayor Jackson, always, Councilwoman Cleveland, and Mr. Dolan, good to see you again. And good luck at Bethany, Mr. Drain. And thanks for the work you do, Mr. Starr, and thanks for what you do for President Obama's Boys Club and for President Obama's My Brother's Keeper here. And we've worked on that over the years. So when you think of Larry Doby, there's so much history that swirls around Larry Doby. He came in the Great, he and his family came when he was a young teenager in the Great Migration from South Carolina up the East Coast and settled in Paterson, New Jersey. He served after graduation from high school in Paterson. He served his country, our country, in a segregated unit in World War II. He was a star in the Negro Leagues, and unlike Jackie Robinson, he came straight from the Negro Leagues to Major League Baseball, which was probably an even bigger, harder step than what happened with the Dodgers. He was the first, he and Satchel Paige were the first African Americans to play in a winning World Series championship in 1948. He should have been, if not for Yankee and I assume racial bias, should have been the most valuable player in 1954 when his team won a record number of games in the major leagues, 111 games, and he led the league in home runs and RBIs, and that honor passed him by. I had the honor, the pleasure, I don't really remember it well, but when I was a kid, when I was 7 years old, I saw your dad play for the White Sox when they were playing Cleveland after he had been traded. And then I had the honor of meeting your father at the Congressional Baseball game some years ago when he threw out the first pitch that Josh knows about. So the history that swirls around him and the service he gave to his community, our country, is really unparalleled. He also, too often forgotten, he was the second, after Frank Robinson with Cleveland, the second African-American Major League manager with the White Sox that he had played on. So his service was on and on and on and on. My pleasure to present to you and also to Mr. Starr, Cory Booker, your United States Senator, and I, and some others joined in to sponsor the Congressional Medal of Honor for your father, and I would like to present both to you, Mr. Starr, if you'd come up, a copy of this for Boys and Girls Club, and especially for you, Mr. Doby, a replica. This isn't the original because I don't know where the hell it is, but this is a replica of the Congressional Medal of Honor legislation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's go to you.
It's always good to come back to Cleveland. It's a town that gave my father a start 72 years ago. And I think if he were here, one of the most important things that he would say that he didn't do it by himself. That he had a bunch of people that supported him and gave him an opportunity and were there for him during the tough times. And I think one of the things that is often forgotten about his struggles here were that Jackie Robinson was in New York City, and everybody's eyes and papers and stuff were on what he did. And in Cleveland, it was kind of an afterthought. The same things went on, but they say sometimes the measure of a person is the stuff that he does is when people are. and Cleveland opened their own for him. And with support, he was able to be successful and bring a world championship here and have some of his best days. So when I'm asked by Mr. DiBiasio to come to Cleveland, the answer is always yes, because you guys treated my parents good, and in turn he tried to play well for you, and it's an honor to be here. And this congressional gold medal is something that nobody could ever dream that we could have got, so I thank the people that sponsored that bill. And I hope the playground gets a lot of use. It's beautiful, and hopefully it's safe, and the Boys and Girls Club continue to affect youth in a good way. And that's about it. So thank you guys for having me.
All right. Thank you. All the papers flowing around. Larry, what was the one thing your dad always said about the people of Cleveland? He said he never got booed. He never got booed in the city of Cleveland, which stayed in his heart forever. Thank you, Senator Brown. Thank you, Mr. Larry Doby Jr. And congratulations, Larry. We're so pleased you could be with us today. It's time for the ribbon cutting ceremony, everybody. Our newly renovated Larry Doby All-Star Playground. Let's move into position to do the ceremony.
Right.
We look forward to seeing you throughout the entire week as we have more enrichment programs available for you to cover.